There have been some course updates this year, and the navigation looks just a little different in some of your courses. I'm going to share my screen with you and walk you through some of these updates. Overall, the navigation is still the same, but things are located in a different place. So you will see that every teacher's landing page looks just a little different, but you will always find a calendar link so that you can click on the link and schedule a Zoom session or a face-to-face time with your teacher. And you should always find their email address so that they can be contacted easily. Overall, the courses are set up the same way, like a file cabinet, and each module has their own file folder. When you click on the arrow, the file folder opens to show you the lessons, the quizzes, and the submitted printed assignment boxes. Remember that when you have a green arrow, that means you've opened the lesson. That does not mean that you have completed the lesson. So keep that in mind, especially for you learning coaches. When you open up your child's lesson, then you see that there's a green check. It just means that they have opened it, not completed it. Let's look at lesson 1 in this language arts course. In most of your courses, the navigation will be at the top. And the tools will be at the top as well. The updates moved the tools to the side, and your navigation is a little bit smaller. You can still use the arrows to go from one slide to the next. You can also click on the arrow here and navigate the slides that way. The tools, for the most part, are the same. They're just have moved locations. You still have a menu to hop around from module to module. You will see, though, that in 4th and 5th grade, you must complete the lessons in order. So if you end up clicking on a lesson and you haven't done the previous one, it will tell you you must complete this assignment before you can see this lesson. There is a link for notes for 4th and 5th grade. You won't typically need to take notes. You have your printed packets that have everything that you need. However, if you are really eager to learn how to take Cornell notes, then you can click this link and it will teach you how to do that. You can use this icon to print a page if you have screen fatigue and you just need to have the page printed. If you're struggling with an assignment and you need to circle things or take notes on that particular page, then you are more than welcome to print it. There's a glossary with course appropriate words in there, and that will be different for your math course and science course. This is a link to your objectives. If you're wondering what is supposed to be covered in that lesson, or if you're curious, if I say, hey, go back and study context clues, and you can't remember quite, which lesson, usually I'll tell you which lesson, but let's say you can't remember, you can click on the objectives and it will say what's covered in that lesson. This is your resource button, and I'm going to show you this one. This is one of my favorite things that you have. You will have the printable resources. I've already given them to you in your packet, but right here, this videos button, this is fantastic. It has all the videos that are within your lessons. But if I say things like in your discussion-based assessment, we are going to be discussing identifying themes. Make sure that you are able to read a story and you can identify the theme of the story, and you might want a quick review on that. Then you can go back and see the Finding Theme video and play it and give yourself a refresher before we meet. To get out of this, we would click the back arrow, which unfortunately takes you out of the lesson. So we're going to go back into the lesson, and I'll show you my second favorite tool that's available. Let's say I'm on slide 4 of a lesson and I need to stop for any sort of reason. Maybe I have to run an errand, or I need lunch, or I'm just tired and I want to pick this up later. I can click the bookmark and I can add this page to my bookmark section, and I can close out. Okay. Now let's say I leave the lesson and I come back to it and I can't remember what slide I was on. I would open up the lesson again, and it's going to take me back to slide 1, but I can click the bookmark and I can click on this link right here, and it will take me back to the slide I left off on. This is really handy for the writing component of language arts, where the lessons are long and you might work on it over a few days. You can bookmark the slide you left off on, and then the next day pick up where you left off. You also have speech tools available to you where if you have fatigue, again, if you are getting tired of reading everything, your eyes are getting heavy, maybe you want the computer to read it to you. I will give you a warning though, if you press this play button, it will read everything to you. If you highlight something and press the play button, it's going to read the highlighted component. However, this is not a great example of how to read fluently. It is a computer reading it to you. So please keep that in mind, that it is not a great example of fluency and accuracy. However, it will read some of the words to you. If you're having trouble with comprehension and you just need to hear it in a different way, you can have the computer read part of it to you. These tools, there is a text selector where you can select text on the screen and you can make it bold, you can underline it, you can highlight it if you need to. Sometimes that's just a great way to draw your eye back to important things. It's also, if you are someone who likes to take notes, you can highlight important things as you're reading and then go back and take those notes on the highlighted part. Again, that is not super necessary, but it's there if you'd like to have that tool. There's a calculator, which you won't need. Even in math, you don't need it because you shouldn't be using it in 4th and 5th grade math. You should be working on building those basic skills so that as you get older and you get into algebra and trigonometry and all those wonderful maths, you have your basic skills so that you know what to type into your calculator. And there is a stopwatch. So if you're working on reading fluency and you want to know how many words you read in a minute, there's a stopwatch right here that would help you with that. And an analog clock if you need that one. And these are the changes. Again, very similar. Your gradebook has not changed. The icons have not changed, but the location of your tools and your navigation do look a little different.